You're listening to the Night Demon Network. Go to nightdemon.net/subscriber to unlock more exclusive content.
Hello and welcome to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. I'm your host Nesbit. To celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the first Night Demon studio album, Curse of the Damned, Night Demon did a tour where they played the entire album from front to back as part of the set list. I was lucky enough to be at one of these shows in Newfoundland before it headed to play the Cart and Horses in London. Great show, amazing set list. When the band was in Cleveland on this tour, they stopped into WJCU's Metal on Metal show, where they hosted the show with Bill Peters. And that's what you'll hear today. This is Night Demon, WJCU, Metal on Metal Takeover.
Night Demon playing tomorrow at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Guys, thanks for coming down.
Hey,
thanks for being here.
Thanks so much, John. It's good to be back. We did a co-host here 10 years ago, and we're back, and we're here to celebrate the 10th anniversary of our debut full-length album, Curse of the Damned, which we will be playing tomorrow at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in its entirety, along with Destructor, doing 40 years of Maximum Destruction, and a tribute to our good friend Sandy Kruger from Sacred Few. So it's going to be an all-around great Cleveland metal night with, we're honorary Clevelanders, right?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. I've got of
course,
Armand
you're
here.
always on the road, so I'm sure a lot of places are adopting you by now.
Kind of, right?
Cleveland's still in the top 3, I would say. Yeah.
I mean, you guys have been living out of the van for those 10 years.
Yeah, we've graduated some better vans. We've had a bus a couple times too, which is kind of cool, right? But and a lot of flying these days. That's kind of the deal, right? I mean, you'd think so. And then you lose a lot on the way, But yeah, no, we're really glad to be here. It's been a long time coming, and I just want to thank the Metal on Metal listeners, actually, first and foremost, for voting this album number 1 in the 2015 polls. So that's why we decided to come back here. We're only doing 2 U.S. shows commemorating the anniversary of this album, and this is one of them, and this is a big one.
Cry of a hound, if someone was wailing the dead.
All right.
And we're back.
WJCU 88.7 FM, John Carroll University.
That was Screams of the Night.
No, you're
Anniversary
hired.
remix.
All right. Yeah. So we kicked off this block with, of course, the song Night of the Demon by the band Demon, followed by our old intro tape, which we have brought back for this anniversary tour, which is Riddle of Steel, Riders of Doom from the Conan the Barbarian soundtrack. That actual, what you heard there was a live recording of the intro from 2015, early January 2015, from the Maple Grove here in Maple Heights, Ohio. So from a bootleg recording. That was the night of some crazy blizzard out here.
Yeah.
For a lot of the fans out here will remember that. So instead of just playing the intro tape, we actually took a piece from a live bootleg there that was actually recorded out here. And then the last track you heard was the leadoff track off Curse of the Damned, Screams of the Night. That was actually the 10th anniversary remix that is featured in the new box set that we have for Curse of the Damned coming out September 5th. We've got some of that stuff left. There's a few box sets left on our website there. Most of them are already taken out by the record stores. So, but a lot of the diehards have already picked up one of those. So yeah, that's basically the intro of a Night Demon set. You're always going to hear Night of the Demon. You're going to hear that intro and, of course, the opening song of the record. So we thought we'd kind of kick things off like that, like you're kind of at the gig, you know?
All right.
Next track we have queued up here. This was so what we're kind of doing tonight for the most part is, you know, there's a handful of, or two handfuls, I should say, of cover songs that we have officially recorded that are in our discography. And these are all songs that we love. And a lot of times we want to kind of throw a nod to these bands that we really love. And a lot of the tracks aren't really as popular. But tonight we want to play the original versions from these bands. So this was the first song that we ever jammed as a band, actually. Brian, can you talk a little bit about this band and this song?
Well, Diamond Head is one of the essential new wave of British heavy metal bands, if not the essential new wave of British heavy metal band. The album Lightning to the Nations is just classic track after classic track. It's the reason so many of us are here today, playing the style that we play. We all love this record, and yeah, this is the title track to Diamond Head's Lightning to the Nations.
back. Night Demon on the air here. Metal on Metal. WJCU. You heard Diamond Head's Lightning to the Nations. One of the only songs Metallica didn't cover off that record, so we thought we would do it. And it's a great song. Followed by Axe Crazy from Jaguar. Another great new wave of British heavy metal band. Like I said, we are playing tracks from the original artists of songs that Night Demon has covered in our official discography. Getting ready to play the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame tomorrow night with Destructor and Sacred Few and Power Cage, a tribute to our good friend, our fallen metal sister, Sandy Kruger. We're going to roll on here a bit. This next song is a song that I guess, I don't know, would you guys consider this a heavy metal song?
No, yours is on. Oh.
Well, one of the early, maybe, proto-heavy metal without it being heavy metal in a weird way.
Yes.
It's a different version that most people know.
Well, yeah, so this is a Dutch band. Actually, we played this song in a club in Netherlands years ago, and it turned out that the drummer owned the club, and he was standing behind the bar. we had no idea. So early on, there was like a lot of these old British metal compilations. There was Metal for Mothers, another one called Rock Snacks, and there was a compilation that had a band called Aragorn, which was Kronos from the band Venom. His cousin was the singer, and they actually covered this song, and it gave us an idea of like, hey, you could, this song is pretty great, and we just kind of try to really metal this song out. We chunk it out, as we call it. But the original version, this song has also been covered by Great White. They did a much more bluesy version of this. But the original track here has a lot of jamming that we kind of took out. We kind of do that a lot with these songs. Like, they say people always like when bands make songs their own, right? When they cover them. But at the same time, when you're a band and you are wanting to cover a song, it's because you love the way it is, right? And you kind of wish you wrote it, and you kind of want to emulate that sound in a way. So that's always a tough battle. But this song here is a classic track that a lot of people know, and it's a great driving song. This is Radar Love by Golden Earring.
My hands wet on the wheel. There's a voice in my head that drives my heel. It's my baby calling, says I need you here. And it's 4:30 and I'm shifting gear. When she's lonely and the longing gets too much, she says the cable coming in from above. Don't need to phone it up. We've got a thing that's called radar love. We've got a wave in the air. Radar love. Forgotten song. Brand new lead coming on strong. The road has got me hypnotized, and I'm spinning into a new sunrise. When I get lonely and I'm sure I've had enough, she says Red our love. No more speed, I'm almost there. Gotta keep cool now, gotta take care. Last car to pass, here I go. And the line of cars drove down real slow. And the radio played that forgotten song. Brenda Lee's coming on strong. And the newsman sang his same song. Oh, one more radar lover gone. When I get lonely and I'm sure I've had enough, she says the comfort coming in from above. We don't need no letter at all. We've got a thing that's called radar love. We've got a light in the sky. We've got a thing that's called radar love. We've got a thing that's called radar love.
This is the International Student Broadcasting Championship Station of the Year, WJCU, University Heights, a service of John Carroll University.
Road racing, moving on down the line, shifting gears, racing through space and time.
We're back. Night Demon here on the air. Metal on Metal. WJCU 88.7. That was Riot with Road Racing off the album Fire Down Under. Another great track. We've become really good friends with the surviving members of that band. A bit of a strange story. When we started as a band, we had recorded our first EP. We hadn't released it or anything, and we found an email address for Mark Reale from Riot, who was the founding member of the band and the only consistent original member. And we had sent him an email with the tracks from our debut EP and just said, "Hey, we're big fans, and it'd be great if you could just check us out, and give us some feedback." And we never heard anything back. We got news. He had passed away. He had Crohn's disease, and he had passed away. The news didn't hit like the metal news for quite some time. It was weird. They didn't report on it for 2 or 3 months. And when the news came out, I kind of went back through my email and coincidentally discovered that we had sent that email to him on the day that he passed.
Whoa!
Right? It's kind of strange. But it's kind of weird. We never did get to know him, but like I said, we've been good friends with the surviving members of the band who have carried on as Riot 5. And it's kind of I don't know, some of this stuff is cosmic in a way, and maybe his spirit kind of carried on to what we're doing. At that time, we had no intention of being a serious band or anything like that. We were just having fun and didn't really think anybody was going to care about this stuff that we're doing. But it was great to be able to cover that song and put that as a bonus track on the Curse of the Damned album when it came out 10 years ago. So, so that was Riot with Road Racing. And before that, we did hear Golden Earring with Radar Love. And I want to also mention that if you go to YouTube, there is a video that Century Media put out, a multi-camera angle of us playing that live in Cleveland, playing Radar Love. Ken Kitt filmed that one and gave us the tapes for that, and that's up, and everybody can go check that out.
And we were talking off mic. You were saying something about, you would trim the fat, or like, okay, we don't need to do this part of a song. When they extend that, it was it was Castle Donington, not Nebworth, in like 81 or 82. There was a various artists from Castle Donington. It had Scorpions, Rainbow. Riot did an extended version of Road Racing. And I think Trouble did a track, and there were a couple of other ones. But when the song was kind of fading, they're going into there was the part where they did the extended jam and the audience participation and all that stuff, and you were like, yeah, we don't do that part.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what we were talking about before, how like sometimes, with these songs, we just kind of cut out the parts that we think, actually, we've added parts, haven't we?
Sometimes we'll add parts if it works for what we do. It's kind of the thing, it's not really our kind of a part, so let's just either cut it out or, what have we added parts to?
I'm trying to think. Maybe as some of these songs,
it'll come up as we go. Yeah. We'll chime in on that.
But talking about jumping in on somebody when they passed away. So, since I do the surf show, it was I suppose it was like March 16th or 17th in 2019. I walk up to you guys. You're playing another show at the Maple Grove, and say, "Hey, since Dick Dale, King of the Surf Guitar, passed away today, are you guys gonna?" Maybe do Miserlou or Taco Wagon or something like that.
During the day that we played.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't.
And you guys looked at each other like, we used to work for Dick Dale.
Yeah. I bet that blew your mind, huh?
It did.
Yeah. So we were both, I guess, okay, so in our minds, we were guitar techs for Dick Dale. He would refuse to call us that. We were roadies.
Roadie number 1 and roadie number 2.
Yeah.
We didn't have names.
Yeah, you just moved heavy stuff for him.
Yeah. So,
and I did ask about the story that if there's a show, he'll just look at the bass player and go, $1.
Yeah, he would
$2.
charge his band on stage, but I think he stole that.
That's a James Brown
Right?
thing.
Yeah,
He's one of those old
something
school
like
guys.
That,
but who
right?
knows, man? He was around before those. You know,
But
they were
the
around the
story-
same time, so it could have been a kind of a thing that those guys just did. You know,
He told the story is he told the bass player, "You're just doing downstrokes, no upstrokes." And if he caught the guy doing an upstroke, he fined him $1.
Now listen, just bringing that point in, right? This is what. So Dick Dale is one of these guys who really deserves a lot more credit for his innovation, right? And in my mind, he's kind of like the godfather of heavy metal or hard rock.
Speed metal.
So let's talk about this, right? The speed picking, okay? Nobody's doing that before. The string gauge he used was like a 58 on his bottom string, which is like insanely
it's really
heavy,
It's a telephone
right?
cable.
He worked with Leo Fender to invent the 100-watt amplifier because he was playing these dances and so many people would show up and nobody could hear him, right? So this is pre-Beatles, all that stuff, right? You know, it's just there's so much there, right? The downstrokes. I mean, come on, that's a heavy music kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, look, there's so many stories we could tell about Dick, and 90% of them are not appropriate for radio. But he was, I mean, this guy, he was a pioneer. He was an old show business guy. You know, his dad came from that world too. And, you know, there was just so, with the rock and roll debauchery, I mean, he was involved in that from day one. He used to tell us stories about Annette Funicello and like, you know, stuff. I mean, I really wish he would have written a book.
But he also told us that he never drank either, which we had, you know, one
time we were in London and he was going off on this diatribe. First of all, that the headband that he wore, the black headband, was a piece of Andre the Giant's,
leotard.
His one piece, right?
Thing.
And his wife gave him when Andre died, and then he started to go on for at least an hour about his vegetarianism, and you know, he used to own pet lions, tigers, leopards. They would live in his house, okay? And he would talk about, you know, his lions would come up and like he'd be watching TV and they would like lick him in the face and he'd start bleeding because like, you know, the lions' tongues are so rough, and that these cats, these wild animals, they are, you know, their bodies are made to consume meat. That's why, you know, right? And we're not as humans, right? And he was talking about his vegetarianism and all this for about an hour. And our tour manager comes in the room and screams like, hey guys, food's coming. You know, what do you want? And Dick says, give me the turkey salad. You know, like,
well, what was his favorite thing to order at Denny's? Was like moons over my hammies or whatever, you know, the sandwich. And it was like, dude, and at that point too, it was funny when I worked for him. You know, he had all kinds of health problems. You know, where would you go at the end of the night? Denny's, and he'd be ordering, you know, ham sandwich with extra butter and all this crap. It's just like, But hey, the guy lived a long, crazy life and was a really strong guy too. I mean, we saw him do things that were like, how?
We used to call it the devil's breath. He would sing. When he would sing on stage, you would see this mist come out of his mouth. It was crazy. And it wasn't like because it was cold or anything like that. He had the strongest strength in his diaphragm. He was like a kung fu master. One time in Spain, he used to play the trumpet on stage. And,
all those parts of Miserlou.
And every day I would have to oil the reeds of the trumpets. And if you put them in backwards, no sound will come out. And I accidentally did that one day. And he went on stage to do the trumpet part and no sound came out. And like, he just kind of like, he was super pissed at me. And so the next day, I think we were in like somewhere in Holland. The next day we were in Spain in the tiniest dressing room. And he put his finger in my chest. Like, it was so painful. It was like, you know, the thing from Kill Bill, the death punch or whatever that.
Death punch,
whatever. Like he could have probably done that. And he was so pissed. And he's like, he was about to fire me on the spot. And like 24 hours had gone by. He just let it stew. And he said, I have a taste for flesh and I haven't eaten today. And the bass player had to like pull us apart. It was a whole thing, man. There's so many, you know, Armand used to like hang out on his yacht, like in Newport Beach, right? Like,
yeah, he felt that, right? The surfer, the point. or whatever. Yeah, just crazy stuff, man. He took me on this whole trip, and yeah, it was all like this like field trip for me and the other roadie. You know, we're like, what's going on here? Because you know, it was always like we had a different van, we went in a different room.
He used to drive himself.
Yeah, and he drove himself
Yeah.
and with his wife, and you know, we were just the help, and that's it. We were number 1 and number 2.
That's
you
it.
know?
No
But
names. Yeah.
once in a while, he'd get nice and want to take us on a field trip and tell us about his.
Twilight
Well, that's it for this week. We're going to pick it up next week with the second half. Nightdemon.net for everything Night Demon. CurseDam.com for everything Curse at 10. Until next week, this is Nesbitt signing off.
Thanks for listening to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. Head over to nightdemon.net, click on the subscriber tab, and sign up to access exclusive weekly bonus content. If you would like to donate to support the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast, you can do so through PayPal at paypal.me/nightdemonmetal. Additionally, if you have not already done so, please subscribe, like, rate, and review the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All hail, Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast listeners. This is Dusty Squires chiming in to tell you about my brand new signature sticks from the London Drumstick Company. I've dreamt of having my very own drumsticks ever since I was a wee lad, and LDC made that a possibility for me. Founded in 2016 in London, England, the birthplace of heavy metal, the London Drumstick Company has trailblazed a path through the music industry and taken the drummer world by storm. When I met them for the first time, they knew their product was going to withstand the beatings of a Night Demon show. They took the time to work with me on getting everything just right. The balance and weight of my sticks are the same no matter what, and the durability is bar none the best I've ever had. I know my sticks will last through the set night after night. I'm truly honored to work with a company that caters to their players the way LDC does. Their innovation and attention to detail is what separates them from the rest of the stick makers out there. Their custom stick sleeves are unbelievable and really make the entire presentation complete. Wait until you see the design they came up with for me. It blew my mind and was a surprise to say the least. They have all kinds of amazing swag, including hoodies, t-shirts, drummer shorts, drum keys, stick bags, towels, face masks, practice pads, and much, much more. Even if you're not a drummer, you can be a part of Demon history and order my brand new signature sticks direct from their website. How cool is that? And to top it off, the London Drumstick Company are giving an exclusive offer to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast listeners. Go to londondrumsticks.co.uk and receive a 15% store-wide discount using promo code DEMONSTICKS. All capital letters, no spaces, Demon Sticks. DEMONSTICKS. I can't thank everyone there enough for the opportunity to be a part of their family and for them trusting me with their amazing products. See you metal maniacs on the road very soon. And yes, the wood chips will be flying.
Greetings, boils and ghouls. This is your comrade, the Crypt Keeper here, reporting dead from the sanctuary of the strange. Tonight's macabre myth is a fright-filled feature, one overflowing with monsters, madness, and magic.
Visit our website at monstersmadnessandmagic.com to stay up to date on all the dark dealings within the sanctuary of the strange. Enjoy the show.
Hey Metalheads, I'm Mark and I host the Metal Forge. Let me tell you about the show. The Metal Forge features the best underground metal from all over the world. We spend every week with a different artist with interviews, in-depth conversations, and most of all, the music. We also feature audience interactivity where you can submit your questions to the upcoming guests. New episodes are out every Friday at noon Eastern Time at metalforgeradio.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Want to know what's going on in the world of music? Then tune in to the Nothing Shocking Podcast, a non-genre based, all-ages friendly rock and roll program. Join us weekly for interviews with all your favorite rock stars from the mainstream to the underground. You can find us at nothingshocking.libsyn.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
Okay, metalheads, you've been complaining that there has not been a channel that plays all of the heavy metal videos from past, present, and future for years and years at this point. Well, that time is over. Heavy Metal Television is back. HeavyMetalTelevision.net is the website. Go there. You can see videos playing 24/7, 365, all the time, all the best from the old school, the new school, and everything in between. Check it out, HeavyMetalTelevision.net. It is where the metal is.